Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Tragics. Great to have your company for another week as we get stuck into all things VAFA footy. Welcome to the desk as I always do, Nick Armstead.
Lenny, how are we?
Very well, thank you. You've got a collar this week.
You do have a collar and it's Ralph, so we questioned the polo in previous weeks, but if it's Ralph, you can get away
Now
with
there's no doubt we've been flagging in recent weeks, and maybe that's because of my dress standards or not, and maybe it's just our agenda. We haven't quite had a focus this year, and obviously the past couple of years have been focused on the price of dim sims, and that's been a bit of a campaign that we've run. I think
made some big changes.
It's run its course. We've delivered the results for the fans and the people out there. What we now want to do is do a full analysis on tuck shop offerings at every club. So we want clubs to get involved, get on board with us, because I feel like the overall menu selection at clubs, dim sims are on the menu, big tick. If you don't have them on the menu, get them on there.
At a reasonable price.
At a reasonable price, of course. But I feel like this is the chance for clubs to really shine, to really stand out. I'm looking for full reviews, video reviews. We can play them on the Tragics.
Maybe a little 60-second video review.
20-second review.
Perfect.
I want your house special. I want to know what your go-to house special is on the menu. We want prices, and we want price points on various items as well, and just general variety, number of items on the menu, that sort of thing. What sort of drinks you've got available, etc. Whether you're charging $1 for a killer python that's really only a mini python, or whether you're actually offering a killer python. That's the sort of level of detail I want.
I look forward to this.
I think this is something we can throw out to our fans. I expect, some of our other supporters of Dim Simgate last year, like the Follicle, to get on board this sort of campaign.
He will be all over this.
Exactly right. I think there's plenty of people out there that are very savvy around tuck shop food, and I feel like we've dropped the ball, so I'm putting it on us. We didn't have an agenda item to kick off the year, but this is going to reset the programming a little bit.
And I reckon the Fitzroy burger. I'm just trying to go through all these canteen items.
Burgers is a key. If you're selling burgers, you're already in the top.
Yeah, it's massive.
Top half dozen, I reckon.
Massive. No, I look forward to this. New campaign, new year, new campaign.
Tuck shop reviews. We're going to review them here. We're going to look at what's on the menu. I want photos of the menu items. I want video reviews if you can do them yourselves while you're out at grounds.
And look, if you need to invite Lenny and us down to taste test any of these items, feel free.
I think we can do a show. Maybe one of our Tragics episodes we can do live from maybe the one we see is the best tuck shop. Yep. Open to all sections, all clubs. Get behind it. I want to see what you've got on offer. Rightio, highlight from the weekend.
My highlight from the weekend, pretty simple one, I think. Alex McLeod. We've all seen it on social media. The St Bernard's Old Melburnians game. Young Pippa Biggs, just a 2-year-old down there, has ran onto the ground trying to get a kick. Unfortunately, she ran into a little bit of danger because the ball was in the vicinity, but thankfully Alex went and swooped in, grabbed her and took her safely to the boundary line. But that has gone absolutely viral in terms of community football footage. It's everywhere all over Australia at the moment. So that's just fantastic footage, and well done to Alex.
Yeah, well done indeed. I don't think you can go past. I think I showed a mark last week as well. I'm going a mark again this week. Ryan Kemp's mark here for St Kevin's against Uni Blues. Wowee.
Yeah, that is incredible. Poor Marshall too.
Yeah, I know.
As a step ladder.
Unlucky. We're going to have a Uni Blues guest on the show. Tom Quinn's going to join us later in the show. Alicia Min will be in to talk women's footy, but quickly into William Buck Premier section. Old Trinity are on the board with their first up win. It was a big win in the end over Old Carrion. Worrying signs for the Panthers. They've got St Kevin's and Zabs in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, things don't look great for the Panthers at the moment as they sit towards the bottom of the ladder. But the Tees opened up with the first 8 scoring shots, 28 points at the first break. The Panthers did hit back with 3 of the first 4 goals of the second term, but then it was all the Tees from there. Brandon Wood, who used to play VFL for Richmond, was absolutely outstanding. Kicked 5 goals straight, had 23 touches. And Harry Thompson, now we talk about just the large array of quality ruckmen that we have in the competition, and he's right up there with the best of them. He was fantastic again on the weekend.
Not quite at Ace Cordy standards, according to you, though.
Not many people are, no.
Speaking of Ace Cordy, his side went down to St Kevin's at TH King. The Scobs had a really important win against one of the contenders. Yeah,
they did, and they needed it. They were 2-2, so they weren't struggling, but now they go to 3-2. They're sitting 4th on the ladder. And they, to be fair, despite winning 2 grand finals in a row, they entered the game as underdogs, let's be honest, because Blues were flying. Jack Holden stuffed the stat sheet massively with 32 disposals, 2 goals, and 8 inside 50s. He's a really important player for Scob. But they did what they've done for 2 years now, I reckon, for Scob, is that they cover losses better than any other club. Like, whether it's depth, whether it's just the strength of their structures. They lost Lynch, Cam Odgers, Lockie Sullivan, Henry Parks, Ethan Phillips, but they welcome back Sam Critchley, Zach Guinness, and a few other players. And they just got all these role players that can just do the job when they come into the team.
OM's probably had the win of the round out at the Snake Pit against St Bernard's. I think more so St Bernard's good on them for banking those wins early. They were 3-0, really important when you come up from Premier B to Premier Section. Get the wins on the board early. St Bern's have done that with 3 early wins, which is a good sign. They've dropped their last couple though. Yeah,
they have. That was a hard one last week when they played the Blues. They didn't kick goal in the second half, and again, OMs who played rather well. Jackson Payne came back in and he kicked 4 goals and he was outstanding. But Burners is probably trailing off in second halves at the moment. They kicked 2 goals in the weekend, which makes it 2 over the past 2 weeks. But as you said, those 3 games, we were a little bit sceptical about the quality of the opposition, and it would have been interesting to see how they went against the Uni Blues and the OM. So it looks like it's evening out a little bit now.
Collegians do as they always do and won at Waverley Oval in convincing fashion against DLR Cell. Not sure what to make of DLR at this stage.
No, DLR are struggling. They're being killed at the moment by injuries to Jake Williams, Tom Humphries and a bunch of other players. They've got players at VFL level. Harry Burt was running around for Box Hill on the weekend. So unfortunately they're just in a world of hurt at the moment. They just need to get through it and hopefully bank a few wins come the middle of the year.
Collegians' inaccuracy in the last few weeks is an interesting one.
It's been incredible. Like, they've played well over the past few weeks as they've welcomed some players back, but 33 goals, 62 over the past 3 games.
And finally, old Zavs torched old Brighton. You off the Tunners again?
I'm never off the Tunners. No. They came up. The Tunners had 5 big outs prior to the game, and you know that they put their full 22 up on a Friday night, so you get to see these things. And look, they just struggled against Zavs, but they're absolutely humming at the moment. They had 14 individual goal kickers.
Absolute kudos to old Brighton for doing that as well, because we like to see the teams out on a Friday properly. In Premier B, Monash Blues had a monstrous win over Fitzroy. Great result for the Blues. Not so good for Fitzroy.
No, well, Fitzroy had their first win of the season last week, which was massive down at Brindisi Street Oval, but failed to back it up. Monash were leading by 15 points at quarter time and then exploded with 14 of the next 17 goals. So they were just absolutely dominant. It was a game that they had to win and ends their 4-game losing streak.
Old Haileybury beat Oggs at Como Park, which is an interesting result considering Oggs' position, how they'd worked their way into the season, and Old Haileybury had been beaten comprehensively a couple of times.
Yep.
So good win for them. Old Scotch and some beats. Ugly scenes there.
Yeah, a few melees here. There's a little bit of feeling in this game. I know there's a few reports that came out of it and VRO decisions will be made and that sort of thing, but both sides were certainly going at each other. As you can see on the screen, there was no love lost between the two.
Caulfield Grammarians kept on their merry winning ways with a thumping win over Beaumaris.
Absolutely dominated. It was their new recruit who came in just this week. He was just transferred into the club, Julian DeBotts, who kicked 7 goals. So they're just going from strength to strength. They come up against Old Scotch this weekend in the Battle of the Titans.
Have we seen a turning of the tide in Premier C with the Jackers slowly working their way into the season? They went down by a point, but it was a good contest against Williamstown.
Oh, absolutely. And they could well have won it. They had a shot on goal from Justin Berkowitz, 30 seconds remaining, but unfortunately he missed the set shot. But to come up against the ladder leaders, who are also undefeated in Williamstown, and to go down by 1 point, that's a great effort.
Rovers also stole the game by a point against Mazenod.
Yeah, they've made it 2 wins in a row now as they edge past the Nodders. Now, scores were level. Again, it came down to the last 30 seconds. As you can see on your screen, Josh Broadley just grabs it and shanks an attempt on goal here, but that was enough to get them the win.
Wins also to Ormond, Old Ivanhoe and Marcelin in Premier C. We've got to take a break. We're whipping through because we've got Tom Quinn who's going to join us at the desk right after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to the Tragics. Tom Quinn's at the desk from Uni Blues. How are you?
Good, Lenny. Thank you for having me.
You've been on a few of the podcasts before, is that right? Is your first time at the Tragics desk?
Yeah, first time at the Tragics desk. Been on the podcast before and a few other little things.
We did try to get him on the Tragics last year. Unfortunately, couldn't do it, so we had to, do the podcast just to get through. But we're lucky and happy to have him today.
I made it.
Now, firstly, Uni Blues Canteen, how's it going? There, I understand there's been a change of proprietor down there.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, change of proprietor, looking after the Uni Blues Canteen. Obviously, you're playing most of the time, so you don't get a chance to...
I'm just worried about the beer after the game.
So you're not worried about what's on the menu?
No. Is it a new menu?
Well, I don't know if it's a new menu, but I know that proprietors change it. It's obviously a new issue for us here is, canteen reviews and things like that. I just wanted to get your assessment on it.
Well, I can't comment, unfortunately. I'm a big non-eater before a game.
Okay.
And after the game,
what do you eat before a game? We don't really ask people this.
I'm a big scrambled eggs at 9:30 a.m.
Yep.
And then nothing.
Same every week?
Same every week. And then 2 coffees and nothing after that.
And then when do you next consume?
Dinner.
So you're pretty peckish?
So you don't go straight after the game? You don't put anything down to replace anything?
No, it's usually 2 beers and then dinner.
Are you a snakes and lollies sort of throughout the game at all?
No, not really. leave the stomach to do its own thing.
And what about you? So water or Powerade, that sort of thing?
No, just water. Just water.
How do you survive?
Easy.
You're starving.
Simple man.
Had a loss on the weekend, so you're not coming in a happy situation.
No.
But it was a great start to the year. But have you got St Kevin's measure when you play them again?
Yeah, unfamiliar to us. I think the last few years we've been zipping 5 every year, so it's been good to be on the other end of the ladder. It was always going to be a close one considering their past few years on top. But I think we had their measure for a lot of the game. They got on top of us in the first quarter early, and probably jumped us unexpectedly. But we played catch up all day, hit the front in the last quarter, and then we sort of goal for goal in the last, and then they ran over us. But I do think, at our best, we're certainly there. What's
the difference then? Why are you playing so well at the start of the season for a change?
I think a lot of it, a big change this year has been ball movement. A lot of our pre-season with Jamo coming in as coach cut a lot of the running out, specific running drills, and just focused on footy ball movement drills and getting as many kicks in as we could. So that's been a huge part of our game early, and it probably cost us on the weekend with a bit of a dodgy cricket pitch in the middle of the ground. We couldn't use it. So that played into their hands a little bit, having to kick up the line. But I think our ball movement has been better than it's ever been, and we're going, from coast to coast a lot of the time and scoring pretty frequently.
Well, you mentioned him. Tell us a little bit about Heath Jamieson, who's come in over the off-season. We spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he seems pretty keen to set the standard pretty high this year. So can you tell us a little bit about him and the changes that he's implemented since coming in?
Yeah, he's happy to smile, Jamo, but he's also a very firm, hard man when he wants to be. He's been great for us, and day one set the standard that basically there is zero tolerance for any playing up. If you're not going to train, you're not going to play. I think you guys mentioned last week that Ross Young came through the twos this week. He's a Woodrow medalist, probably the best player the VAFA's seen over the last 5 or 6 years, I'd say, in my humble opinion. But he's had to do it tough in the twos and training with the twos, and he might get his...
It's great that he's still playing.
Absolutely,
for a start.
absolutely.
That's what we love seeing.
Exactly.
Blokes like him still running around.
But he's not happy about it.
Oh, really? He's not?
No, he's going to be happy when he's playing once.
He's a champion. So.
Yeah. So, it'll be good to have him hopefully in this week. But that's the sort of standard that he's set, and it's been great for a lot of us. And the twos are probably playing pretty good footy because of it as well.
How many years have you been playing in the VAFA now?
So this is year number 5 with Blues.
Yep.
And I also had 3 years at Old Caulfield as well.
Very good. Now, so we saw this mark from Ryan Kemp on the weekend, which
yes.
highlighted at the top of the show. You think it's the best mark you've seen live?
It was right up there, maybe highlighted by the fact that Marshall Rippon was under him.
Yep.
That made it more enjoyable for all of us. But live, I was probably about 20 metres away and sort of said to my opponent at the time, I said, that's probably the best mark I've ever seen.
Yeah. So do you talk amongst yourselves on the ground when you've seen the mark,
yeah.
or are you talking at three-quarter time? So take us through those discussions.
Yeah. Everyone had a bit of a smirk on their face, and no one wanted to bring it up with Rippo at three-quarter time, but we all sort of knew that was pretty special.
Well, tell us about yourself this year. You're obviously playing a lot more through the midfield.
Yep.
You've notoriously been a forward, I think, for most of your career, but how are you finding it through the midfield and, I guess, roving to ace Cordy in the ruck?
Oh, it's a pleasure to rove to ace. I think Jamo knew a little bit about me before he came on board. I was pretty much just a forward before that, and challenged me to improve the tank, run a bit more over the pre-season, and see what I've got in the midfield, and sort of pushed him in the pre-season games, and hopefully did enough to start in the middle, and I've loved it ever since. A lot more freedom, a lot more of a challenge, and I'm pulling up a bit sore, but it's a positive, I think.
And just on these AFL players, you obviously had Cam O'Shea come in, Josh Green as well. You've already had a few, like Jeremy Taylor, already in. What do they bring to the group?
Yeah, funnily enough, you sort of don't know what to think when they come into a system like the VAFA. Quite easily, they just probably want to drop off, lay back, and sit in the goal square. And a lot of the time in a lot of other leagues, that's probably the case. But every one of those names you just mentioned came in from day one and have been so impressive. And lift guys like me. I'm chasing Cam O'Shea around. He's still as fit as he was when he was at Port and Carlton. Their knowledge around training standards and especially sort of how we move the footy has taken us to where 4-1, second on the ladder, and they've played a big part in that.
Quickly, you've played a bit of rep footy. What's been your highlight of all the rep experiences you've had? You've had an Ireland tour?
No, I didn't do Ireland. I did 23s and then played
in South
played
Australia?
in Bendigo and then South Australia last year.
So
South Australia, certainly.
Yeah.
Last year we had a pretty big
Does it feel better playing like Victoria versus South Australia?
Yeah. There's a bit more in that, I think. And we had a special group last year. I thought Burb sort of his last hurrah, depending on what he does next year. But that was a pretty special trip. And I think travelling with a team of great players as well.
Uni podcast. Now, before we want to give this a plug, obviously, because we love giving anyone who does their own social media and own media at clubs a plug. Tell us a little bit about the Uni podcast. A few laughs from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very much targeted at the Uni Blues supporter and player. So, if you're listening from another club, you probably won't get a lot of the content, but that's fine.
I love that they're making a podcast to an audience of what, a couple of hundred maybe?
Probably 200 max.
Yep.
But it's a very engaged 200.
Yep.
We love it.
When do you listen to it?
So it comes out every Friday morning. So on the way to work, our WhatsApp group's just going off Friday morning, losing. It's very funny.
Are there a couple of supporters doing it?
No, so it's Tommy Williams, who actually runs Melbourne Uni's podcast.
Yep.
So he's got the setup, and that was the in there. And then Connor Lappin, Hamish McInnes, and
Connor Lappin does it.
Yeah, Connor Lappin.
What sort of wisdom are they bringing?
And walks as well.
So they're watching every game, or is it more just about the ins and outs around the club?
A lot about the ins and outs and the social side of things. We have a guest on every week, and that's usually...
Have you been invited on that podcast?
Not yet. I think we've had 3 episodes. I know.
Oh,
I'll leave my run late. I'd rather be on the end of the year when we're humming.
Finals bound.
In September?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, what's the feeling amongst the group? Quickly, we've got to wrap up. But feeling this is a serious tilt this year?
I would have thought,
compared to other years. So just compare it to your 5 years.
We've got a pretty special feeling this year. I think Monday to Friday, everyone's...
You were played in the 3 prelims in a row?
I did, yep. 3 losses. It's a very different feeling this year.
Yep.
Everyone's on board, everyone's probably on a similar level, and we're all playing the footy that we want to be playing for the first time in a while. So we're loving it, and I think it'll take us a long way.
It's incredible to think that Blues have only won 2 A-grade Premier flags in your entire history. So where you guys are placed, I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys pan out this year.
It's not going to be easy. I think from what we saw with Skevs on the weekend and this week with Zavs, it's it makes it exciting for everyone.
Do you
watching.
think that's the biggest test this weekend coming up now?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is sort of our mini grand final in the first half of the season. It's going to be a big test to us. I think we'll have 5 or 6 back that we probably missed last week. Against the biggest test, the 5-0 Zavs at the top of the ladder.
They're humming.
Yeah, they're humming. So we'll take it up to them, and I don't think they like playing at our home, so we'll test that out.
Good to see you, Tommy.
We're
looking forward to seeing the game at the Uni Oval on Saturday. Tom Quinn from Uni Blues, and they're taking on Zavs on this Saturday. Back with more in a moment. Alicia Min to join us at the desk. Welcome back to the Tragics. Alicia Min's at the desk to talk VAFA women's footy. Alicia, how are you?
Very well, Eddie. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So what do we think of his Ralph today then?
Much better,
it's good, isn't it?
It looks good. I'm the Schmickers one here. Where's your blazer today?
Actually, I'm wearing a jacket as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to pick it up. I did forget to bring it today, unfortunately. I have the golf clubs in the back of the car, and I looked at it today, and the jacket wasn't there. I was a bit filthy. I was hoping you weren't going to pick it up, but thank you for that, Leash.
Take us inside to the world of VAFA women's footy, Alicia, and what's caught your eye this week?
So just touching on the weekend to kick us off, lots of fantastic women's functions in light of Mother's Day, obviously on the Sunday. So we've got Emmaus, St Bernard's, Richmond Central, Ormond Q, to name a few, but lots of clubs got around that. I was at the Scob Lunch at TH King, which was very good on the Saturday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
So, is there any better way to celebrate your birthday than with VAFA footy?
So, did you request to have happy birthday sung to you at the lunch?
Not.
Did you tell them?
I told them because it was also Tim Arnold, who was a Certificate of Merit recipient, birthday, and we were complimenting about that.
How did they know that it was your birthday?
I told Tim because he told me it was his birthday.
So it did all start with you?
I didn't storm in waving my arms around saying it was my birthday.
I'm here on my birthday, guys.
Taking time out of my birthday to come to your luncheon.
So that was interesting. A bit embarrassing, but interesting.
Onto the footy field.
Yes. So we had first wins we like to touch on every week, but I want to touch on first losses. So we had a number of undefeated sides go down this week, kicking it off with William Buck Premier Marcelin, back-to-back wins knocked off Q. Shayla Taylor and Tessa Zagantinos were very good in front of goals for the winners, but I want to talk about Q. Lily Barr, she was prolific. She had 26 disposals, but it was her 9 tackles which really stole the show. Check out this with her bear hug on Natalie Gill in the 4th quarter, running into open goals, stopping a certain one there. Fantastic stuff. So that was really a bit rough on Natalie, though. Would have been her first goal for the season.
It would have been. Yeah, it's tough always to get run down from behind.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the standard in the William Buck Premier section for the women's, across having the depth of teams that are all competitive, I don't know who's going to win the flag.
No, it changes every
confident?
week now.
Are you confident saying
No.
who's going to win the flag in that section?
No.
I think it's really exciting.
Looked like Old Trinity for a bit, started with Scob, now 2 really fantastic performances.
Marston, who won the first one, coming back.
Q have only just lost their first game.
Yeah.
Melbourne Uni will get players
I think
back.
Melbourne Uni
Yes.
we all expected to be up there. Again,
Yeah.
they've lost games. It's an amazing competition.
It's good.
Yep.
Keeps us excited. So just quickly touching on other ones. In Premier B, Monash Blues were defeated for the first time by Caulfield Grammarians by 3 goals. And there was a battle of the undefeated in Div 2. The Vultures UHSBU went down to Preston Bullets. And then just to finish off on a first win, we only had 1 this week, but Old Melburnians in Premier C got their first win at Elstonwick Park.
Very good. Now, you started something last week, much like we're trying to start with the Tuck Shop Trials, that's a good name for it, Tuck Shop Trials.
I
Hashtag.
like that.
Just come up with that.
Yes.
Tuck Shop Trials. Get on
Go
board.
with that.
Done.
You started fashions on the footy field last week, and it's taken off.
It absolutely has. The response from the VAFA was unanimous. We want more of it. And no one more so than Nick's mum, who actually sent through a photograph of you. Was it circa 2008?
Yeah, it was.
Gunning down the pitch for a bowl with the headband on and his luscious locks. So
Standard from...
We were talking about last week the shoelace, and
Yeah.
Mum got involved and thought she'd send it through to Leash, which was nice of Mum.
it was very good. But the club's definitely got around it. They want more. So here's more. St. Bede's men Tone were rocking the crazy socks at training on Thursday night. The Animalettes ahead of the Emmaus St. Leo's annual Pink Saturday. They were having a braid brigade pre-game. Shelby was doing a great job there. Yarra Old Grammarians had time to take the mickey out of senior coach Michael Wines. He was looking schmick with the old pants tucked into socks combo at the huddle.
Nothing wrong with that on a cold day.
And great to see our Div 2 Best and Fairest award winner from last year, Georgina Petty. She's looking fab here in her She Gals merchandise. She's recovering from ACL surgery. So great to see her on her feet, running around, ready to go back.
And you've got a strong finish here coming up. I'm looking forward to
do.
talking about this one on the rundown.
I
So tell
do.
us about what's happening down at North Brunswick.
Okay, so we love fashion on the footy field, but what about engagements on the footy field? Totally messed that up. Anyway, but speaking of love, it would be remiss of me not to bring up last week. After training at Allard Park, an engagement happened.
This is amazing.
Yes, so between North Brunswick, Susie and Francis, she proposed to her after training custom-made footy ball. It was filmed. Here's the footage. Their dog was there. I'm not sure if we've ever seen this in community football after training, an engagement.
No.
I can't.
I don't
I'm
say.
surprised it was at training. I would have, maybe at 3/4 time if you're going well. But I suppose you don't want to distract the team. But considering they're normally playing with dogs and all that sort of thing at 3/4 time, that's sensational. Congratulations to Susie
They're
and
having
Francis.
a lot of fun down there. They're not
Indeed.
playing too well,
No.
but they are having a lot of fun with some of the stuff they're doing off field.
They did have another milestone game on the weekend too, so there was another banner, so we might have to talk about that another time. But good on North Brunswick and congratulations, Susie and Francis.
Look forward to more fashions on the footy field next week. Get the hashtags happening and Tuck Shop Trials as well. Get on board that as well. Interested to see your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Letty. Thanks, Nick.
Back to wrap up after this. Welcome back to the Tragics. Just a little bit of time left to wrap up the show. Get to our social media highlight of the week. Nick, do you want to open?
I will. I'll go with the Aquinas this week. I don't think we've seen them on this segment before, but what we saw last week from Coach Ash Nolte, who was front and centre, was just elite. He went through some of the best things to do with the club, so let's throw to that and see how the boys reacted.
Best bit about this footy club is they're a great young bunch of lads, highly respectful of their environment and the club as a whole, and You know, they're very mature. You know, I'm particularly impressed this year with a young group that really want to go that extra mile and, you know, put their hand up and pay the subs before round one. We haven't even had to chase them at all.
It's Vancouver and English.
Kick! Kick! Oh, kick, you bitch! Get there! Get there!
Kick. Oh, he's got
Yes! He's home!
Yes.
He's home!
What'd you win? What'd you
He's
win?
home!
What'd you get?
330. Jesus, that's
Well done, mate.
330.
Hey Billy, haven't paid your subs.
Hopefully
You got any money?
I can't afford that. No, I can't afford
How much are the subs?
330.
One of the more exciting things over the last couple of years with the senior success, the under-19s winning the flag last year and the introduction of the girls side, we just have so many numbers and it's obviously stretched our facilities and you know, we just have to make sure that we continue to respect the club rooms every week and you know, we've set a couple of rules ourselves and we just like to make sure we always get changed in the change room.
And that is what makes Aquinas so good. Some great acting performances there by the boys.
I'll see your Aquinas and I'll raise your Caulfield Grammarians. Take a little look at floating flanners.
We're here live from the CGFC rooms where the Fields have just defeated by Morris 18-6, 114 to 3-14-32. Julian DeVos on debut, who booted 7 goals today. Jules, just a great performance from yourself and the boys in your first game for the field.
Yeah, no, it was good. The boys worked well together, got plenty of space going, and yeah, it was a really good team effort. And it's a hard game, haven't played for a while, so it was good.
Yeah. Oh, here he is, the milestone man, Willie Osborne, mate. Game 150.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the win in the milestone match.
Yeah.
Just outstanding performance from the boys to get it done for you.
Yeah, it was a good win. Stop it, please. Yeah, we've come good. We're playing well. Everyone who comes in and plays well. So it's a pretty good situation to be in when the players bring up are very good players. You bring in Julesy in round 5 and he kicks 7. It's a good start to his career.
Tom Green. Nice. Put my under arm.
This is what we like to see.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Tommy Flanagan down there at Caulfield. He commentates their games, you know.
I've heard this as well.
That
This
is
is good.
He farms his own little frequency and commentates it for Caulfield supporters.
I think that's excellent as well. It'd be a tough battle calling a game on your own for 120 minutes without any sort of special comments.
He usually gets 1 or 2 guys with him.
How are you going with working on radio on Saturdays?
We're going well. And anecdotally, it's going well. It's different for me. Obviously, I've never trained or never wanted to be a caller, but I'm enjoying it. And
very good.
Joey Pignataro is a star, so.
Very good. Quick questions. Why don't I kick it off? Who's your highlight heavyweight clash this weekend? We've got Zavs and Blues.
Yep.
We've got Old Scotch and Caulfield Grammarians. We've got Willie Seawise and Old Mentonians to take your pick from. Ely Park or Elsternwick as well.
So some massive games. I think Old Scotch, Caulfield Grammarians, though, is probably the one. They're both undefeated. Caulfield continue to impress us week after week, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yep.
Leonard,
yes.
Which team is dominating the club-made video space at the moment?
Such a huge array of clubs that are delivering week in, week out. Anyone that's putting stuff on social media is doing a great job. So more of it, please. But I think at the moment, probably Old Paradians are just shading everyone with their work through Instagram, match highlights on a weekly basis, just general club interest stories as well. Yeah,
one of their Marcus Nolan, got in the Players of the Week last week as well. So when clubs that don't have games filmed by us are sending in footage for that, you know it's good.
Yeah, exactly right. Been a big show.
It has been.
Tuck Shop Trials, get on board. Footy Fashions, or Fashions on the Footy Field, get on board that as well. We'll see you again next week on the Tragics.